Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex. And today I want to talk to you about Magik, and I want to do some gameplay for her because I got her to tier 2. I've witnessed the raw power of a mostly maxed out Magik, and I can say you should be very impressed. Her damage is probably going to be as good, if not better, than Angel's. It can be a little bit more inconsistent, or maybe more consistent, because she doesn't have an accumulation skill the way that Angel does. But she has sustainability with the heals. She's got the summons to take aggro or take attention away from her, and she has massive damage on her 5th skill and her 4th skill. When I do some of the gameplay later on, I also want to clarify some of the skill rotation items that I mentioned previously. You can actually cancel her 5th skill a little bit earlier than I mentioned, but you still have to commit to the skill a lot more than usual. You can't just instantly cancel it, so she is a character that you have to pay attention while you're playing. And she has a pretty tight skill rotation, so you do want to get close to max skill cooldown. I have 46% right now. I think that's fine. Anything above that will be great. But essentially you're doing 5 first. You want to get that invincibility, and then you're canceling that into 4 because it's got great damage. Presuming you're not going to be able to bind your opponent like in a world boss, you're then going to want to do the 3rd skill, and then as soon as you lose the invincibility, you jump into your 2nd skill. You may need to kite for about half a second, which is just like running away, and then you'll be able to go back into the 5th skill. But because of her tier 2 passive, she takes a lot less damage. She has an automatic 35% reduction in damage received. Then she hits even harder, and she has the super armor. The all defense, you don't really notice that. But she could benefit from a lot of different ISO 8 sets and obelisks. In this case, I will be testing her without an obelisk. Now, the thing is, I have a hard time, or it's difficult for me to recommend one specific way to go. I think that you could go either offensive or defensive with Magik and be very successful. So she definitely has that flexibility, a la someone like Rogue, even like Angel. You could give her, all defense, max HP, and invincibility, and she could be an absolute nightmare to deal with because of all that tankiness. You could even go double max HP to buff the heal, to buff the summons and everything. You could even go with guard break immunity to double down with the super armor for all the people that have penetration. Dodge is probably the only stat that you don't want to give her. You can even go with a CTP of refinement, as we've seen some people do. On the other hand, you could go full offense and just crank her out. I don't think a CTP of transcendence is great, but you could go with a CTP of destruction. You could go with a CTP of energy. Why not? It's not ideal, but it's possible. You could just go crit rate, crit damage, damage proc, and she's going to absolutely blow you away with insane damage. I think Power of Angry Hulk is probably the ideal set because she has no native attack speed, and it's much easier to roll this than Overdrive. If you get Overdrive first, of course, go for that one. But I want to jump into some gameplay now so you guys can see the numbers. Notice the numbers when she gets hit, which is important, and also notice the numbers when she's hitting. Both of those things are super important. Keep in mind I have 4-star energy attack Uru and nothing else. I've ignored defense on her 4th gear because I'm not at the cap. I'm at 47%. And we're rocking just under 20,000 energy attack, 19,000 and change, which has got a decent amount of HP already, and I'm just rank 1600. I usually do tests in either World Boss or the World Boss Ultimate, but I want to show you guys so you can reference it from before the World Boss Double Dimension Rift. Now, we don't have the one that I tested before, which was Ebony and Black Dwarf, but I'll show you guys this one so you can see. We're just going to throw on some ignore dodge, not strikers, but teammates, just to kind of normalize things so she doesn't miss too many times for Corvus, and then we'll jump into some more difficult stuff. But right now she's going to have 45%, 25 from the tier 2 passive of Ancient One, and 20% from Ronin's tier 2 passive. I'm just going to use her own 20%, 13% crit rate leadership. Not that great, but it's definitely going to be more than enough to get the job done. And you can go ahead and compare this to how quickly she did it before against Ebony and Black Dwarf. And you can see here with the change in rotation, as soon as the sword hits the ground, you can start, you can cancel. So it's a little bit sooner than I originally stated, and it does give her more flexibility with her kit. But she's really, really fun to play. I also played her, I can't show you guys today because it's Corvus World Boss Ultimate, but I also played her in World Boss Ultimate against Black Dwarf with, I believe it was no strikers. And, you know, pretty good teammates, obviously. But she completed it in about 2 minutes. So she's definitely got the sustainability to avoid Black Dwarf's large damage hits from World Boss Ultimate. It was phase 1. But also to dish out the damage in return. So she's basically got it all. The only thing she's missing would be reviving, I guess. But she's a fantastic character. And, you know, if you don't have a lot of blast characters, or if you just really like these types of characters, you're going to have a lot of fun with her. I can't wait to use her in Shadowland as well. She's going to probably just destroy most stages, and she can probably solo a lot with her AoE and the summons. So we're going to try her here against... I kind of want to do Infinity Thanos because we had some problems last time, and she does have the difficulty with the invincibility going away. So we're going to try this here with just a normal leadership and one of these kinds of strikers that help out. So let's go with Coulson and Singularity because she has energy damage. Let's just see with this team, you can compare how much damage she does. Very, very strong character. And I think, especially for PvP situations, Timeline Battle, Alliance Conquest, she really gains a lot from her tier 2 passive. That 35% damage reduction really helps her tank. And then when she does get hit... Oh, I just got debuffed there. That's no good. Yeah, so this was the major problem that I had last time. And this is the problem that I'm going to have again. The damage is going to really fall off here. It's actually still really good, but the damage does fall off a little bit because I got debuffed. Most of the buffs that I had in the first place were defensive buffs, but still, it's nice to keep all the buffs. Okay, let's try to slow down just a tad. Got debuffed again. Gonna have that thing coming around here. Gonna run away. Okay. Gonna dodge that one. Okay. Okay. Alright. Yeah, the damage, even with the debuffs, the damage is very, very strong. He's gonna do, yeah, his next phase here. So we're gonna try to finish him off in this last phase. We're at about a minute. We could have done this, I would imagine about 15 seconds, maybe 20 seconds faster if we didn't get debuffed. And then all of that gets amplified if she has an obelisk. So just keep that in mind. You can see doing like 500,000 damage when you combo the... gotta kind of run away a little bit. Don't want to die here. When you combo the 5th skill with the 4th skill, the damage gets pretty nuts. Okay, we got the meteors dropping down there, hitting the summons, and we're done. He's getting fried. Oh, not fried yet. You can see how much damage the summons do by themselves. Really not much at all. They're really not there for damage. Done. They're really not there for damage, but they're there for distraction, and that's exactly what they did. If I had played it a little bit safer, we definitely could have done that a lot faster. Keep in mind, it only slowed down because of the debuffs, where Thanos takes away your invincibility, takes away your tier 2 passive, but you keep all of your other stats and bonuses. And you also lose the Phil Coulson tier 2 passive. But she is actually a very strong character. Like I said, I did Black Dwarf in about 2 minutes with no strikers, so I imagine she could do it in about a minute, maybe a minute and change with the proper strikers, which is what most people do. And that is without an obelisk. So with a damage proc obelisk, I imagine the numbers are going to be even higher. I would definitely put her power level... It depends. Her power level is possibly above Cyclops's just because she has more AoE on her skills. She has the damage reduction. She fits in a couple of things that Cyclops doesn't have, like the healing, the clones. Cyclops has the ignore iframes, and he's got the team bonus effects like ambient radiation, and he's got a better leadership. But Magik does have a few different effects, and I'll have to wait and see how she does in something like high level conquest play to really get an idea of how much better she is. But from what I've heard from people who have used her, her skill rotation is quite good, as in she doesn't just spam 1 or 2 skills, which is good because with a character who has so many low cooldown skills, like 3.5 seconds on Magical Blade, 4 seconds on Stepping Discs, there is the worry that she would just spam her first skill and her second skill and never actually get to 3, 4, and 5, which are obviously her better skills. So it's nice to see that. It's also nice that it doesn't really matter whether you use her first skill, her second skill, her third or fourth or fifth, you're always going to get that heal. So even if she does only spam a couple of skills, you can still get that heal. Just to reiterate, because I did mention that she doesn't get any attack speed, she does get some from her passive effect. So if I look at my details page right now, I'm at 121%. That will put me slightly over the cap when all is said and done. I do still think that Power of Angry Hulk is a great set for her because it allows her to get to the cap when the attack speed is going to be helpful, especially because you're going to want to cancel out of her 5th skill as soon as possible. So the fact that you have max attack speed as opposed to like 120% is really important, because then she'll get that sword down faster because she'll go through the animation of her 5th skill faster, and then you can cancel that into another skill, or you can cancel that into an iframe if you see a debuff coming like from Thanos or Apocalypse, or in the future as a native tier 3 or something when we have future content after the Infinity War update. So I'm very impressed with Magik. I think that she is a pretty high power level native tier 1 X-Men. I would probably put her above Storm. I would put her above Beast for sure, possibly putting her above Andre and Cyclops, which doesn't leave a lot of characters to overtake. So definitely a good investment if you're thinking about getting the X-Gene subscription. Just keep in mind that you need to get one of those, and you should probably use a mega rank up ticket to speed it up. If you're curious how long it took me to tier 2 her, it took me about just under 400 bios worth of the bio selector for the X-Genes, collecting it 20 per day. So if you take a look at what I have right now, I have about 9 days left. Took me about 20 days collecting it to get her gears up to 20 after I used a mega rank up ticket to get her immediately from 2 stars. I don't want to talk about it. To 6 stars. She was at 2 stars because I used a 1-star rank up ticket on her. It was a mistake, and everyone has mistakes now and then. Anyways, I'm super enjoying the character. She is very enjoyable to play, but I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think of Magik, or if you've tier 2'd another one that I haven't, like Emma or Colossus. Let me know as well. It's been a while since we've spoken about the new characters from the latest update. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. Hit the bell if you don't want to miss any of the content that I put out. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.